Introducing questions, problems, and limitations, method or practice. One major drawback of this approach is that selection bias is another potential concern because perhaps the most serious disadvantage of this method is that the main limitation of biosynthetic incorporation, however, is non-government agencies are also very critical of the new policies. All the studies reviewed so far, however, suffer from the fact that critics of laboratory-based experiments contend that such studies. Another problem with this approach is that it fails to take X into account. Difficulties arise, however, when an attempt is made to implement the policy. Nevertheless, the strategy has not escaped criticism from governments, agencies, and academics. However, this method of analysis has a number of limitations. However, this method does involve potential measurement error. However, there are limits to how far the idea of /concept of X can be taken. However, approaches of this kind carry with them various well-known limitations. However, one of the problems with the instrument the researchers used to measure X was. However, all the previously mentioned methods suffer from some serious drawbacks, limitations, weaknesses, shortcomings, disadvantages.
However, this method of analysis has a number of limitations. Break time equals 1000 ms/. However, this method does involve potential measurement error. Break time equals